Well, hello there. I just want you to take just a moment and realize that this message was truly designed for you today. I know that you may be going through some stuff, and the Lord had me pull out this particular message out of my spirit as I was in my no-talk day. Wanted to share with you, and I know if you are listening on the sound of my voice, I know this particular message was truly designed specifically for you. And I know it has done me great because I took that no-talk day. And I want you to know why he ministered to me about no talk. Now, one of the things that I learned from this is that during this no-talk time, it's so important for us to take this time to be able to really to just think. Most importantly, to listen. And that's one of the things that we need to do. We need to listen. We need to watch. And we need to think. Think about what you're thinking about. Listen to what you hear. And meditate on what you see. As you can see, the bloodshed that we are facing today is so horrific. We can see that. We can hear that sound of the cry of the blood of our brethren from the ground for what we're facing today. We can really witness that in our spirits. And then we can almost, as we think on ourselves first and then think on where we are with ourselves, if we really be true with ourselves, many of us are going through a lot of question marks concerning what is God doing, where am I, how much longer, Lord? We're just thinking, well, am I thinking about just myself in this time that you will need to reserve in your no-talk day? In this time when you're sitting still and not talking, and that is what you are to do in that no-talk day is what I'm going to be describing to you shortly. But I want you to think about, what are you thinking? Are you thinking about yourself? Do you really have self-hate in any way about yourself, about something you may have done and you haven't forgiven yourself about? Or are you thinking about the Lord? Are you really thinking about how good he is, or how he's disappointed you, or how you're waiting on him to answer you about something? What are you thinking? Are you thinking about your children, your spouse, are you thinking about the person you're dating? Are you thinking about your siblings? Are you thinking about a friend? Are you thinking about a pastor, a mentor? Are you thinking about a parent, or maybe a Sunday school teacher, or your teacher at school that you're in college? Or are you even thinking about a coworker, or maybe your boss getting on your nerve? Are you thinking about a supervisor, or a church member that you don't like, or you're being challenged by, or a leader, or you're being challenged by? Are you thinking about your parent or your grandparent? Are you really thinking about that? Are you thinking about, maybe your mind is really heavy about, those sheep that the Lord has put to your hand, Pastor? Or maybe you're thinking about that leader that's giving you trouble. Are you thinking about, that, like I said, that thing that you're working right next to, that spirit that's giving you a hard time every day you come to work, that one spirit that you know that is not from God, that's challenging you? Are you thinking about the person that abused you when you were small, or the relative that you got to look at every day, still going about their day, not realizing the pain that you've been through from the abuse? Are you thinking about that parent that left you? Are you thinking about, just what are you thinking? We think about a lot of things, but one of the things that we got to do is we got to meditate on, are we thinking about the love that God really has for us? And that's what this no-talk day is for. I want you to take some time out, and I want you to meditate on this scripture that I thought was so important as I was doing my no-talk day on yesterday. And it was Luke 5:15 through 16 that says that during this time the report went around concerning him, talking about Jesus, and all the more, and great multitudes came together to hear and to be healed by him of their infirmities. So he himself often withdrew into the wilderness and prayed. And that stuck with me, that word wilderness. It stuck with me. Why? Because wilderness means a desolate place. It means a place without a whole bunch of things, a movement. It's just like an empty and unoccupied place. A place where there's nothing going on, is just desolate, empty, void, quiet. That's the key right there, quiet. And so in that quietness, Jesus, he stared away to be able to hear what the next move of our Daddy God is telling us to do. Because he too has to get instruction from the Father. And this is why we need to make sure we understand and think about, what am I thinking? Why do I feel like I need to be alone? But at some point, we must get alone. And we want to make sure that when we're alone, we need to ask God, what am I thinking? What is this I see? That means, what am I discerning? What is this I hear? What am I thinking about? Is this godly, or is this something that I'm thinking about for myself, or about myself, or about somebody else? And so in this no-talk day, you want to schedule that time, especially if you're in a 9-to-5 job, you're going to work every day. Maybe you need to do this on your lunchtime, because after you leave work, you know how it is even before you leave home. You seem not to have the time to do anything. So in this time, this no-talk day, I tell you, it was so, I don't have the words to describe it in my day. It needs to be a time that you know that he is wooing you. And that's what happened to me. I knew he was wooing me. During that time, I felt as though I couldn't do anything else during this time of my no-talk day. All I remember is I just didn't answer the phone. I couldn't talk to anybody. All I knew is that the Lord was showing me that I need to turn the phones off and don't answer it. And then I went, okay, then if I unplug it. And so he gave me a witty way to do it. I'm not going to share it with you. But I want you to know that during that time, he said, I want you to just think on the goodness of me to you. I want you to think on the thing that the enemy thought and you thought that I forgot about you. I want you to think on my goodness and my mercy. I want you to think on the things that I would have you to do next. And I want you to text your daughter, and I want you to tell her that you are not going to talk to anyone today. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not depressed. You're not sad. All you need is to not talk. Isn't that something? Even the music is playing in the background is so refreshing for me. I just meditated on this soft music and just had a wonderful time with our Daddy God, just not talking. Now, what has happened to us, we talk so much, and many times we think that we're not talking because we're doing texting, but you're still talking. So this is the reason why I had to make sure I share with my daughter so she would come beat my door down to find out if I'm dead or to find out what is going on with me. I wanted to make sure that I did not be interrupted. I don't want anything to bother me. So that's why I'm sharing with you my experience of my no-talk day. This is what the Lord is saying to you. Don't talk. You are in a warfare, I'm sure, if you're listening to me and God has allowed you to get this message. You're in a warfare like never before. And God is saying, don't talk. Did you know that there is so much power in silent warfare? One of the reasons why we want to talk, because we want to make sure that we talk to see if we can find out information. We want to talk to see what kind of feedback we're getting. We want to talk to see if the other person is going to say what we need to hear, or they're going to say something that we need to get information about. We just want to talk or text or, look at a picture or something. During this time, when you're at lunch or when you're still away or even in your car, if it takes you an hour to get home or however long it gets home, do not look at any texting. Do not text. Do not listen to no radio. Just don't talk. Listen, watch, pray, and most importantly, hunger and thirst. Get so desperate that you're groaning in your spirit. You're talking heartbeat to Daddy, saying, speak, Lord. I want to hear what you want from me. I want to do what you want me to do. I want to see what you want me to see. I want to say what you want me to say. I want to go where you want me to go. I want to do what you want me to do. Whatever it is, we're saying, yes, Lord. My. I know I'm talking to somebody. So during this time, you won't look at any pictures, you won't do any texting, you won't return no emails, you won't look at your cell at all. Your cell is on off, your cell is somewhere put away. You're just in this place where there's no talking, but listening and worshiping from spirit to spirit. Yes, that sounds like something bored, doesn't it? It sounds like something just too hard to do. But I want to get out here because I want to share a couple of things with you about this time of no talk and why it's so important. It is because we're giving God our undivided attention. That's why. And it's helping us to pay attention to our time. It's helping us to look at our purpose. It's helping us to talk to Him and to hear from Him. We're talking to Him and we're listening to Him. And so we need to understand that this devotional time is going to help us to listen to the sounds around us, to think on the things that could set us up or put us in bad places or allow us to seek vengeance against others or think about the fleshly desires we have. You know how that voice tell you need to get you that pizza when you know it's not good for you, or get you that big old ice cream cone when you know it's not good for you. Hello, talking to myself. Are those things that we think about that we think that we need. I'm telling you right now, we need to take our spirits into this wilderness place where we can devote that time to God, that undivided attention that He is longing for us to give. And so I want you to know that this time, these particular days, I'm saying to you that I did it on yesterday. I'm telling you that you need to start working on doing it in a place of your life where it becomes consistent. That you're working on the time to steal away and don't talk to nobody. You need to find that place. That place can be, like I said, in your car, coming from work, or on the way to work. But you schedule that time. Why? Because that time is going to be so significant. That time is going to help you to be encouraged. That time is going to help increase your sensitivity. That time is going to help you to understand that you don't need to throw in the towel. You don't need to wonder what nobody's going to do. You know why? Because when you don't become consistent, that means that now you have actually did a formality of the same thing that you've done over the years, and that is not build a relationship. You're not fruitful in listening. You're not fruitful in growing to hear God. This is why during these 30 days of this challenge that I have, one of these things I got to do in my last 12 days that I told y'all about the other day, I've got to draw, even though I have these times where I'm alone because I am a single woman, but I've also got to find a time where, in this alone time, where I can look at the things that I'm struggling about. And one of those things is slicing my time. But you got to remember, where there's no communication, there's no relationship. And where there's no relationship, there's no trust. And the less a person begins to trust somebody, that whether they're in the physical or our daddy God in the spirit, we become fruitless. That relationship is not going to be fruitful. That relationship has no communication. And so when there's no communication, there's no love. How are you going to be able to trust somebody when you're not communicating with them? There's going to be a struggle. There's going to be a fight. There's going to be a warfare. And this is the reason why a lot of marriages are failing, because there's no communication. There's no trust. There's no one communing together as we need to be to follow what the Holy Spirit is telling us to do, because we're so intense and so bombarded with so many things. So when are you going to have your no talk day? When are you going to seek God about the things that so easy to set you, or that you're so disturbed about in your life, in your marriage, in your relationships, on your job, whatever sickness or disease that may be in your body? When are you going to get along with God and just say, I want to talk to you? So what is God speaking to you? What day will you set aside? What day or time are you willing to give up to say, I want to have a no-talk day? When are you going to talk to your spouse and say, honey, let's do a no-talk day? Let's get an agreement about a matter and don't talk about it, but pray about it. Let's get in a no-talk day where you don't talk, and then after that time that you all have, decided you're going to have that no-talk day, you get back together and say, what did God say to you, honey? Is there anything you can share with me right now that God said to you? When can you spend the time with your family to be a no-talk outside of the family day? That means no sales or anything else, that you have no talking outside the family day. When are you going to do that? We got so much going on around us that we're going to include everybody and everything that's going on in our personal lives, in our ministry. But personally, you need to settle on that time. Personally, my time is in the mornings. I schedule that time. That's what you need to do. You need to schedule a day, at least one day a week. You know, not no month. No. Because if you're going to have a relationship with somebody, you're going to try to connect with them daily in the respect that you love them. We're talking about our daddy God. We do it with our children. We're not going to just not hear from them, you know, a whole week and go by without trying to see how they're doing. Same thing with our daddy God. So what day are you going to have a no-talk day that you can pull in to just your family? You know, you're not talking outside. You're talking only to them. And so when you choose this place in this time that you're going to be alone, that means you're not going to let anybody else interrupt you. You're not going to talk to anybody else. You're going to make sure that place is conducive like a wilderness like Jesus did, that ain't nobody else going to be able to talk to you. They're not going to be able to reach you. You turn the phones off. You're not trying to see if anybody's going to be able to get a hold of you. And so you need to understand that that place is going to be so sacred. And when Jesus knows you, successfully, brought this place to where you needed to be, then he's going to visit you. He's going to visit you more frequently because he said, oh, my daughter and my son is there. I've got to meet them. They're there. It's almost just like making love. Why? Because it's like a marriage. If you do not look at the principle in that fashion, that the methods of being in the face of God in this no-talk time is somewhat the same method as it is in a marriage or a ministry or a friendship. Anything that you don't spend the time with or spend that relational time that you can get to know that person is going to become dry. It's going to become empty. It's going to become nothing. And then it dies. And so our responsibility is to make sure that we look at every opportunity we can to spend the time with the Lord in this time when nothing else matters. You letting him know, I am hungry and thirsty to know, Daddy, that you want to be refreshed. You want everything that has tried to attach itself to you or every word that has been spoken to you, whether it was fruitful or whether it was something to try to make you feel oppressed or depressed. Whatever the situation is you're going through, whatever situation that someone has tried to do to you, you got to remember, no matter where you are, no matter where you begin to try to find this place, whether it's at work or either visiting somebody or wherever you are, you can find a place to get alone, to talk to our daddy in that no-talk hour. Well, I don't want to stay on here, but I do want to close out with this just to let you know that until we decide to make that opportunity to really, really be in that place to commune with our daddy God and use this no-talk time to really look within to see what could be bothering us emotionally, what could be bothering us physically that's causing us many times to have a cancer in the spirit, that we get sick in our bodies because we're not dealing with the matter that hurt us. We're not dealing with the thing that so easily set us. And we silently suffer with those things that cause us to be sick physically and emotionally. And so I'm challenging you now just to draw back. But let everybody know that this is my time that I'm doing my no-talk day. It doesn't mean I'm trying to shut you out. I'm just trying to give my daddy about some matters. And so you just want to let them know and be alarmed. And everybody, you ain't got to make that announcement too. You just be consistent in your no-talk day and watch our daddy move on your behalf. And so I just commend you today and you even taking time to listen to this because God is going to speak to you. He's going to make sure that he give you this real time. He's going to make sure that he be real personal with you. He's going to give you that opportunity to speak to him. He's going to commune back with you because why? It's your husband. It's your daddy. And he wants to make sure you know that you are daddy's boy and you are daddy's girl. I want to give you this commentary that Gordon T. Smith said. I'm going to close this on off. He said, we need to find a place of quiet for an effective and consistent encounter with God. Our internal, he said, space is notably affected by our external space. I'll say it again. Our internal space is notably affected by our external space. And so what are you going to do? How are you going to tell somebody that I'll be right back, like Jesus? He just went on and stole away. How are you going to slice out your time to have your special meeting time where you're not talking to nobody? Oh, I enjoyed it so much. No one really understood it. People were calling me. I checked the messages afterwards, and I'm like, That's interesting. People call quite a bit while I'm in my no-talk quiet time to hear from Daddy. But what they didn't understand is that I am, and I pray that you are, looking to have this no-talk day relationship. Like I said, like a marriage, like a ministry, like a friendship. And guess what? It's going to keep it fresh. It's going to keep the demonstration of your love intact through your undivided time with our daddies. Well, make sure you do it. There goes my alarm. Got to get off here. Make sure you do it. I know that God is waiting to see what it's going to be and how many days are you willing to do a no-talk day. It's powerful. I'm telling you, it's powerful. You can hear so much and see so much. Sunday, when you're quiet. God bless you. Please share this message.